Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Good evening, everyone. Again, we're back and with my guest, Dr. Chris Dombrowski. We're talking about medicinal marijuana. Doc, I want you to tell your story. Now, again, by no means is this story an endorsement of marijuana use. It's your story, unique to you. Can you tell us that?
Cannabis was beneficial to me when I was a junior as an undergraduate at the University of Southern Mississippi. My first 2 years, I was heading down in New Orleans, drinking Hurricanes from Pat O'Brien's, and I only had a 2.8 grade point average after my sophomore year, and I knew things had to change. I had a roommate that was a transfer student from Columbia, believe it or not. And so for the first time I had access where I didn't have to buy anything, and he supplied me. We became great friends. I stopped drinking alcohol, and my main intoxicant at that time was cannabis. And what that did, what I was before my junior year was a rote memorizer. I just memorized facts. Cannabis expanded my consciousness that I saw the forest from the trees. So my learning went from rote memorization to understanding. So I hit the dean's list, and I got straight A's from then on in. So my GPA went from 2.8 to 3.8. When I was in my medical school interview,
I like this story.
I was in the hot seat with 7 people, and one of the biochemistry professors stopped everybody, said, "Hey guys, look at his transcripts. All C's and a D, and then all of a sudden straight A's. Chris, what happened here? You had 2.8, then all of a sudden straight A's. What happened between your sophomore and your junior year?" And I said, I stopped drinking alcohol and I started smoking pot. And there was dead silence for like 10 seconds. Then everybody started laughing, and we talked on, we moved on, and a week later I got my acceptance letter in the mail to get it accepted into medical school. Now, I am not recommending this to anybody in high school or college. This was what happened to me, and it was beneficial for me. Looking back, I have ADHD type 2 that I was self-medicating myself for. I was self-medicating myself as a social lubricant because I was so shy and probably emotionally not as developed as most kids were because I was acoustically challenged. So that's why it was so beneficial to me, because it made me understand things from a broader perspective than just studying things from fact to fact.
Now, you see 2 states outright legalize marijuana, outright legalizes 16 for medicinal uses. You see then a trend that this is just going to get bigger to the other states.
I think it has to. I think if we're 16 trillion in debt, somebody's got to say, hey, why are we wasting our money? I think the best way to answer your question, there's a great book out there called The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. And she talks about the war on drugs being another word for slavery through the back door, and that the criminal justice system has to keep those cages filled. Privatization of the prison system is the next big thing. So that's why the criminal justice system is so ingrained in keeping this illegal.
Doc, let's move on to you're a runner. You run just about every 5K that you can here in Guam. I mean, one that sees you, I see you regularly. I try to put you out of business because I try to live a healthy lifestyle as well, right. myself. So, and incorporating a lot of things you tell me to incorporate in my lifestyle. One of them is olive oil. One of them is olive oil. And the fact remains, you run, you go into your office, you see all these numbers, these numbers, runner's numbers, right?
Right.
Doc, you're going to do that to me. These runner's numbers. You must have over 500 numbers of running events that you've been in, not only here, but off island events. I mean,
well, that's what I promote. I promote exercise. You don't see me prescribing Prozac or Paxil or any of those antidepressants, because if you do your research, you'll discover that exercise is the best antidepressant around. And if there is one thing I do recommend every day for anybody over the age of 6, is a shot of olive oil
As
every
a
day.
matter of fact, a lot of times you recommend, you say, hey, this is what I recommend you get. Doc, where do I get this? You go to Payless, you go to this aisle. And
The organic food section of Payless has Lucini brand. This is equivalent to 800 milligrams of Motrin.
No, equivalent to 800
Equivalent to 800
now,
milligrams as an anti-inflammatory.
Okay, so that doesn't mean, okay, if you have a headache and you need, you have a Motrin headache and you need to take that 800 milligram, take the whole, does that mean you take a swig of this and that?
Why not?
Really?
Why not?
Really?
It definitely affects me after a training run. If I add an extra 2 or 3 miles to my long distance training run, I'll do an extra tablespoon of this. I'm in training for the cocoa, so I'll do an extra tablespoon or 2 at night because it also aids in bone mineralization. So it prevents degenerative joint disease.
You know, Doc, when you first recommended this to me, I said, "Oh, this is elementary, my dear Watson." You know, because I remember again in my bodybuilding days, we would go through cod liver oil, lecithin, and lecithin. I mean, they were. I mean, I think it now is used for car grease. I think now.
Wow.
I think that's how I think it is, right? And then the protein powders we had at that time. Okay, I mean, it took forever to get in there, and not only, we did the Rocky thing with the raw egg as well, right? Blended it up and became, so it was liquid going down, it became cement. I mean, I mean, you could, I think it's one of the things that build the Emerald Towers up at Jonestown right now, is those things in your gut, right? But over the years, it has been refined and perfected and things like that, and it is great. So when you first told me this, you thought I probably was going to, like, Doc, you're crazy. And I says, man, things that I've drank before, where I've had to go and, I couldn't find them in stores, right? I mean, you had to get these specialty stores, I mean, you had to go downtown LA, man, a little guy running this store that imports this stuff, and it costs an arm and a leg for that time. Now it's our grocery aisle,
This is less than $20.
And again, with this, I mean, because if someone says, hey, fat, okay, you have to stay off the fats, okay? You reduce your diet.
Well, this isn't fat. This is the monounsaturated.
So what
fats
is that?
that
What
are
does that
liquid
mean?
at room temperature are the ones that are good for you.
Okay, so that's the good fat versus the bad fat.
The bad fats are solid at room temperature.
Well, I mean,
lard, the marble that you see in deli meats, the ones that are around our waist.
Sure.
This helps you lose that kind of fat by having this.
Okay. So is there ever going to be, is there a saying then that too much of anything is no good for you?
You cannot overdose on this. There's
so
no side effects
you've proven Barry White wrong then in this, and the too much of anything.
I do this 4 to 6 times a day, depending on how many times I want to show it to my patients.
You got me beating that, Doc. I do it twice a day, right? Twice a day. And actually, this brand I just tried yesterday. I picked it up, as you said, to go pick it up at Payless. You gave me a prescription to go Payless, And so I asked for this. I said, "Sir, what are you trying to cook?" I said, I ain't cooking anything. I'm going to drink it. They looked at me. So he still hasn't, I mean, you don't have too many patients yet that are.
Most people say, "I'll put it on my salad."
Put it on your salad?
And I say, "You're not going to eat a salad every day, pal. Man up. We're manning up."
There we go. I tell you, Doc, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. We're gonna man up to this, and then we'll talk to the folks again as what Doc is going to be doing next. Okay?
Got it.
Be right back.